Hoo-wee, what an episode. So there's some great dialogue between everyone on the white kidnapping team. Jon Snow tries to give Longclaw to Jorah since his father originally intended it for him, but Jorah declines. Tormund tells the Hound about his crush on Brienne, and he's not impressed. Back at Winterfell, Arya doesn't buy Sansa's excuse about the letter asking Robb to bend the knee. She makes it deliberately ambiguous as to whether she'll tell the Northern Lords about the letter, but I suspect that Littlefinger may have already gone behind her back and used it to organize a coup against her. At Dragonstone, Tyrion is still trying to talk Daenerys out of doing anything too impulsive and lets her know that Jon is probably in love with her. She complains about how so many men that she's known keep doing stupidly impulsive things themselves, believing them to be heroic. Tyrion also worries about who is going to inherit the throne after Daenerys dies, and she gets offended that he brings it up. She says she'll talk about that when she's taken Westeros and not before. A zombie polar bear attacks and takes a big bite out of Thoros of Myr. Jorah kills the bear with one of his obsidian daggers, and Beric cauterizes Thoros' wound with his flaming sword. Sansa complains to Littlefinger about Arya finding the letter, and Littlefinger's like, I don't know how she found that. He also makes Sansa realize that Brienne is sworn to protect both her and Arya, and that's inconvenient if Sansa wants to run Arya off or lock her up or something. The Hound hears some noise, looks around a corner, and sees zombies marching their way toward Eastwatch. They get into a scuffle with a few of the Whites and a White Walker, and Jon takes the White Walker out with Longclaw, and all of the zombies disintegrate except for one, which they take prisoner. I thought this was a little too convenient, but someone mentions that maybe if you kill the White Walker who turned the zombie, that zombie dies, but the rest don't. They find out that even more zombies are coming, so they send Gendry back to Eastwatch so they can send a raven to Daenerys. They have to cross some thin ice, but make it to a small island. The zombies surround them, but keep sinking through the ice, so they are safe for a time. Thoros dies of his wounds, and Jon realizes that they better burn the body before he turns into a zombie. Although I thought it might have been better for them to just wrap him up and take him with them, so they can have a spare zombie in case they lose the first one. Sansa gets an invitation to King's Landing, and she sends Brienne to go to represent her, which Brienne doesn't like because she doesn't trust Littlefinger and knows that he's already in control of Winterfell. Perhaps that letter was forged by Littlefinger to get Brienne out of the way. Perhaps Arya forged it to get Brienne out of the way. Getting Brienne out of Winterfell would make a coup against Sansa a lot easier. Daenerys gets the message about the zombies, and Tyrion tries to stop her from getting on her dragons and coming to the rescue. She, of course, doesn't listen. I don't even know why she even keeps him as hand anymore. She never listens to anything he says. The Hound throws a rock at a zombie and knocks his jaw off, then throws another and it skids toward his feet, revealing that the water has refrozen. The zombies then advance toward the island and they have to fight a bunch of them off. They almost drag Tormund under the ice, but the Hound saves him. This goes on for a while, and a few of the red shirts they brought with them get killed before Daenerys swoops in with her dragons. They start burning the shit out of the zombies, but a White Walker takes one of his ice spears and hits Viserion. He dies and sinks beneath the ice. The surviving members of the gang climb onto Drogon with the zombie they captured, but Jon is stuck still fighting off more zombies. He sees the Night King prepare to take out another dragon, and Jon yells at them to leave without him. Some zombies grab him and drag him under the ice as Drogon and the rest of the crew fly off. This is why it's bad to do dumb hero stuff. Also, Jorah almost falls off of Drogon, but it looks like he makes it back on. Jon Snow makes it out of the water, runs from the zombies as they start gaining on him, then Uncle Benjen rides through with a flaming flail and holds off the zombies while Jon gets on his horse and rides toward Eastwatch. Daenerys stands on top of the wall watching for any sign of Jon as Jorah tells her that it's time to head toward King's Landing. She insists on staying a bit longer, and just as she's about to leave, Jon comes riding up to the wall. Davos loads Jon onto a ship and cuts his frozen clothes off, revealing his scars to Daenerys. Sansa found Arya's faces, and Arya essentially tells her to watch her back if she doesn't want her face to end up in that bag. Where the hell is Bran? It's so frustrating that Bran isn't helping out with this. When Jon wakes up, Daenerys is sitting on his bed. He regrets that he ever agreed to the plan that got one of her dragons killed, but she says it was worth it because now she knows firsthand what the danger is. Jon is so impressed by her rescue that he agrees to bend the knee. A lot of people think that this plan was terrible, and it's certainly the case that trying to convince Cersei to be cooperative seems like a fool's errand. And Tyrion knows that she's probably planning a trap, but what other options do they have? They're morally committed to not simply burning King's Landing to the ground, and they can't fight the army of the dead if they have to fight Cersei at the same time. They need to find a way to hold Cersei off while they take care of the army of the dead, and I don't see any other way of doing it. In the last scene, the zombies are pulling Viserion's corpse out of the ice with giant chains that they got from somewhere, and the Night King reanimates him. Here's a scene I'd like to see in the next episode. They show Cersei the zombie, and she's like, oh, that's no big deal, we have one of those here, and the Mountain takes his helmet off. Cersei probably has a trap in mind, but it's hard to know how she intends to turn the tides on the Unsullied, the Dothraki, and the dragons. Maybe she has more wildfire. Maybe she'll just blow all of King's Landing up. Will Brienne get there at the same time, and will she be able to reason with Jaime? Will they bring Gendry? It might make things awkward if they bring one of Robert's bastards. Is the Hound going south with everyone else? That would be my mighty awesome because maybe he'll be able to face off with his brother at last.